All right, maybe a slightly different topic than usual, but it gets around to some of the similar points. So the other day I watched the movie The Circle, and I realized I'm at least 2 years late on that, and I don't know. I just wasn't interested at the time, and saw it on Amazon Prime and thought, what the hell? Um, but it also made me think of another movie that I had watched a few years ago, the HBO recreation of the book Fahrenheit 451. If you haven't read the book or seen that movie, I strongly recommend going back and checking those out. So both The Circle and Fahrenheit 451 were kind of poorly reviewed and viewed as unrealistic, or that they had like significant plot holes, and there were all these things that the people who wrote their reviews uh, took issue with about the movies. And what I found kind of scary about the reviews of the movies, and honestly about at least with The Circle, well, with Fahrenheit 451 as well, with all of it, is it's not unrealistic at all. They kind of are showing us the reality that we legitimately live in. So if you don't know, I'm just going to summarize them real quick. Fahrenheit 451 is based off the book that in the future there are no books. The movie, I'm going to focus on the movie itself because the movie did stray from the book, and some of the critique of the movie was that it did not portray the book to an absolute T, which I guess I am a book purist on movies. I want the movie to as closely resemble the book as possible, unless they have stated that they are not doing that up front. And with this one, with the book, because of modern technology and just the world we live in, I felt like it would have been a imaginatory stretch to try to place that book in the exact future that Fahrenheit 451 created, because it's already like there's the technology that we have. It wouldn't be a good translation. It would be disingenuous to present times to try to look at a future that we've already surpassed, if that makes sense. Um, so I thought the interpretation of the book was very well done. And to summarize it, basically, uh, the future world is where everything is live streamed, and books and anything that's longer than a freaking tweet doesn't exist. Like, the entire world has been condensed down into sound bites and clips and emojis, and just like there is no room for interpretation or nuance or words. It is all reactionary. They say that Trump doesn't actually read any of his, excuse me, doesn't actually read any of his reports, that he wants the reports to be summarized, and then he reads a summary of the summarization. So, are we really living in a future that is so unrealistic, from everything being a soundbite or a blurb or a tweet, when that's the world we live in, like everything being live streamed? Uh, that is the world we live in. It's not some grand departure from reality. It's not unrealistic at all. It's where we are. And it was the same with The Circle. Like, there were talks of the plot holes and uh, the inconsistencies or unrealisticness of The Circle. And The Circle is this, just for a summary of that movie, it creates this massive global social network that just captures everything you do all the time. And we live there. I mean, I can link my Facebook and my Instagram pages together. Uh, Everything attaches to Facebook, really. Like, you can use your Facebook login to log into just about any app anywhere. You can use your Apple ID or your Google ID to log into literally anything, anywhere, just about at any time. In the palm of your hand, you know? We live in it. It's not some unrealistic stretch of the imagination, but people act like these are futures that just couldn't happen, or like this is something that's way off the wall, and ignore the reality. It's like people who get mad about the government is going to microchip us. The microchip is in your pocket. You voluntarily put it there every day. It's there. Quit bitching and throw the phone away. Disconnect yourself. Like, these unrealistic futures or conspiracy theory futures that everybody's so scared of or doesn't think could exist, it's the here and now. It is the present. It's not some future. It's not some dystopian future. It's the actual present day. And people have got their heads so far up their asses they can't see that we are actually living in it right now. Because I posted a link to an article yesterday about Sweden and some of the articles that have been released about their Sweden's reversal and going into lockdowns now after the fact, when in fact that's not all what they're doing. What Sweden is actually doing is going back to what they had originally said back in March of, if you're sick or have concerns, stay home, social distance, otherwise do your thing. And they're not going into lockdowns. They are reinforcing what they had said at the beginning of the entire pandemic to begin with. But headlines on articles that are being run are that Sweden is doing an about-face and going into lockdown. But it's just the headline. If you actually open the articles up and you read the details that are in it, they don't say anything about a lockdown. They don't say anything about a mask mandate. They say what Sweden is actually doing. And in the article that I had shared, it was from FI, which is an excellent source of news. They take everything from an economic perspective, and it's very economics based. But it's they're a private platform. They don't have any vested interest in any political party or anything like that. So I like getting news from them. Well, like what the FI article said was there's actually research been done that shows that 60% of people just share a link based off the headline alone. They don't even click the link and open it up and read what's in the article. And I mean, that's the Fahrenheit 451 world that HBO created. Like blurbs and headlines and catchphrases and absolutely no substance. It's the world we live in, and it's a scary thing. Like, that, to me, is the scariest thing, is that we live in it right now, and people don't accept it, and don't realize it, and refuse to acknowledge it. They refuse to acknowledge that it's even a possibility. And it's our day-to-day lives. When we talk about, you hear it in libertarian circles, and if you don't run in libertarian circles like I do, then maybe I'm the only one you'll hear it from. But talk about being red-pilled and blue-pilled. And it's not red and blue in relation to Republicans or Democrats. Fuck those guys. It's talking about, like, The Matrix. So if you watch The Matrix, I'm doing a lot of movies today. I'm actually going to do another book while I'm at it. If you watch The Matrix, Morpheus offers Neo the red pill to wake up and see, what everything is, or the blue pill to just go back to sleep and stay in the Matrix, essentially. And so in libertarianism, we talk about people being red pilled, in that more people this year, I think, probably than ever before, are starting to get red pilled, and they're starting to wake up, and they're starting to see just what a monster the government is, and just exactly what, like, there are no Republicans and Democrats. There are the rulers, and they are all the same thing. They just pretend that they're not. shit, it was on full display last night. If you didn't watch it, I shared a YouTube link. You got to skip through the first like 26 minutes of blank space before the debate actually started. But the gubernatorial debate here in Indiana between Democrat Woody Myers, Republican incumbent Eric Holcomb, and the Libertarian challenger Donald Rainwater. You saw it in full display that the right and the left are just the same thing, saying slightly different things. And then you got the Libertarian up there saying, we need people to have their liberty and freedom back. Yes! Like, people are starting to wake up to this and realize it and get red-pilled and, you know, come around to the reality that there is out there. But people need to see that these dystopian futures, they're not dystopian futures. They're the dystopian fucking present. It is the world we live in, and we've got to wake up and start pulling ourselves out of it. Because if you think that Twitter and Facebook and censoring stuff was bad, just wait. Just wait. I saw in one of the groups that I run in, Instagram is starting to block libertarian ideas and posts as well. Like, they're all coming around to realizing that people are waking up and seeing this stuff, and they have got to squash that, because the more people that wake up and realize who the enemy is, they don't have enough power to hold we the people back. And they know that. And that's why they have to keep you scared. They have to keep you suppressed. And that's what it all boils down to. I was going to talk about 1984. If you haven't read 1984 or seen, there was a movie that was put out actually in 1984 based on George Orwell's 1984. I mean, it is more and more the world that we live in right now. Like, I post stuff being humorous about the Ministry of Truth and Newspeak and you know, different stuff like that. But it's becoming a lot less humorous and a lot more terrifying, honestly. It's time to wake up. Read a book before they take them away from you and you're not allowed to anymore. Learn something. Learn something that's going to set you apart from all the people who don't think that this dystopian future is real. It's the dystopian present, and it's on us. Wake up. We've got to stand up with each other against our oppressors, or we are slowly going to, not even slowly, we are very quickly going to allow them to oppress us to the point that there is no turning back. And that's a world that I have no interest in living in, and I won't.